there to the plasma and then to the liver, etc. Good. Actually, iron absorption itself can be regulated, based on how much iron the body needs. So, what and all help in iron absorption? Vitamin C, then the reductase enzyme, right? HCl acid, actually HCl promotes iron absorption. Guys, are you able to see this? HCl itself, the gastric acid promotes iron absorption. Then you have cysteine, which is helping absorption of iron. Then you have, even if there is iron deficiency, there is going to be a lot of iron absorption. So it can be regulated. It's actually the body regulates it here. And then what else? Apoferritin gene expression. So if iron is less, right, then what will body will do? It will make less apoferritin. So there will not be much ferritin. Correct? So ferritin is storage form. So definitely you don't want any storage form. So if iron is less, it will make less apoferritin. Guys, we'll just cover some physiology before we go to the details of pharmacology. See, iron, right, if it is toxic, then it can cause siderosis, hemosiderosis it is called as. So if it is present in excess form of hemosiderin, then definitely there will be hemosiderosis. In that you have hemosiderosis and hemochromatosis. Hemosiderosis is milder and hemochromatosis will actually lead to destruction of the tissue. Okay. Why will this hemosiderosis occur? Because of repeated blood transfusion, excess iron intake or excess absorption of iron, right? Increased hemolysis in the body. There is some iron metabolism error, okay, etc. All this can lead to hemosiderosis. If iron is excess, then what they will do? They can give a chelating agent which will help the excretion of iron in the urine, okay. The transport form of iron is transferrin, okay. Now guys, we are moving to hemantinics. The chapter name is hemantinics, right? Hemantinics, nothing but all these iron, vitamin B12, folic acid, etc. These are hemantinics. These means they help in the formation of blood. So all these are used in the treatment of anemia. Anemia itself, what it is and all, you know, right? There is reduction in the hemoglobin, right? This can be because of what else? What all could be the reasons for anemia? Either there could be hemolysis or there could be blood loss, right? So there could be deficiency of these nutrients, there could be bone marrow depression, there could be blood loss, there could be RBC destruction, that is hemolysis, etc. Lot of things about anemia. Anemia itself is a huge topic. So now considering that the person has anemia, you will give iron as a treatment. Let's say here we are focusing only on iron. Now iron, so basically iron can be given, the recommended daily allowance, right? Recommended daily allowance. So that is 20 milligram per day for adult male. But for female it will be 30 milligram per day. This is because of menstrual loss, etc. In pregnancy, lactation, again the iron requirement is much more. Hence what happens, there are two types of iron that are given, oral or parenteral. Only when oral doesn't work or there are some complications, then parenteral is chosen. Now oral iron therapy, what and all options are available? Let us look at that. Fine. See, the preferred route of administration of iron is actually oral. Okay. These are ferrous salts. Ferrous is actually the absorbed form, you know that, right? So these are inexpensive and they have higher iron content. They are better absorbed. Okay. And there is a lot of other adverse effects. We'll come to that, like gastric irritation, etc., constipation, etc. Now here, basically based on the amount of ferrous iron available, there are a lot of iron. You should know the details. Ferrous sulfate is there, ferrous gluconate is there, ferrous fumarate is there. Then you have colloidal ferric hydroxide. Then you have carbonyl iron. These five at least you should remember. Say it. Ferrous sulfate, ferrous gluconate, ferrous fumarate, colloidal ferric hydroxide and carbonyl iron. Now the thing with ferrous sulfate, you should know ferrous sulfate is what the government will give because it is the cheapest, right? But the problem is it will make you so vomity, it will make you so nausea will increase a lot. So just remember. Then it has hydrated salt 20% iron, dried salt 32% iron, whatever that means or not. So just remember it is cheapest, okay, oldest and cheapest. So what it contains 20% as hydrated salt and 32% as what salt? Dried salt. Okay, so this is ferrous sulfate. The diagram is shown here. It's the cheapest and oldest. Actually, the government will give this only to people because it's cheap. But actually, it makes you so vomity. I would say don't take this at all. Coming to ferrous gluconate. Now, ferrous gluconate, it has 12% iron. 12% iron. Okay, and what else? That's all. Nothing else they wrote. Then you have ferrous fumarate. Ferrous fumarate, it is having 33% iron. That's great, right? 33% iron. It is less soluble in water and it is tasteless. I like that idea. It's tasteless. Less soluble in water. Okay. Then coming to colloidal ferric hydroxide, it has 50% iron. What the hell? 50% iron, the highest we have seen so far. Then moving on to carbonyl iron. Carbonyl iron, guys. We are moving on to carbonyl iron. Okay. Now, carbonyl iron, it is high purity metallic iron, and it is fine powder form. Okay, and it is prepared by the decomposition of iron pentacarbonyl. It is highly toxic. Whoa! So, what you learnt about carbonyl iron? High purity metallic iron, whatever they mean by this. High purity metallic iron. Okay, high purity metallic iron, very fine powder form it is. Powder form, which one, guys? Powder form is carbonyl iron. Okay, and it is prepared by the decomposition of iron pentacarbonyl, which is a highly toxic compound. So, somewhere here we are. Okay. So, we are done with the main 5 things. Ferrous sulfate, ferrous gluconate, ferrous fumarate, colloidal ferric hydroxide and carbonyl iron. At least remember ferrous sulfate, it is 20% hydrated salt and 32% dried salt. Okay, bioavailability actually for ferrous sulfate is more than carbonyl iron. Ferrous sulfate you will remember, right? Okay. Preferred RRED. Okay. Now we are done with the main things. Now let's come to the small things. The other forms, you have ferrous succinate, then you have iron choline citrate, then you have ferric ammonium citrate, etc. Actually, the one I have used is ferrous ascorbate, and I really liked it. I don't know why it is not there in this book. This ferrous ascorbate, right? I liked it. It didn't make me feel vomity at all. So I really like it, but I don't know why they didn't mention it here. I'm not sure. Anyways. Okay, what else you want to know, guys? Adverse effects of oral iron you should know. That is why people, they don't like it. Because why? Because of epigastric pain, nausea, vomiting, heartburn, bloating, staining of teeth, metallic taste, colic, etc. So, what and all you learnt now? So, basically there will be nausea, vomiting, epigastric pain, heartburn, bloating, staining of teeth, metallic taste, colic, constipation. First time you are seeing constipation, no? In iron it will be that because iron has a little astringent action, okay? Constipation is more. In the next video, we will start off with parenteral iron, the indications and also the preparations. We will look at all this in the next video, okay? Parenteral iron and parenteral preparations. Fine, so let's review what we have seen so far in this video. We saw that iron can be given orally or parenterally. Iron, we saw the physiology, how it is absorbed, how it is stored. Then what are hemantinics? They are nothing but iron, vitamin B12, folic acid, which are required for the formation of blood. Oral iron therapy, you have ferrous sulfate, ferrous gluconate, ferrous fumarate, colloidal ferric hydroxide, don't forget hydroxide. Then carbonyl iron. Guys, I have a feeling you will forget of all these words after the video is over. What? Say these, at least these 5 you say. Ferrous sulfate, ferrous gluconate, ferrous fumarate, colloidal ferric hydroxide, carbonyl iron. Not bad. You remember everything. Okay, so remember the percentage in ferrous sulfate. Say the percentage in ferrous sulfate. 20% hydrated salt and 32% dried salt. Okay, can you say that again? Ferrous sulfate, 20% hydrated salt and 32% dried salt. Okay. Then which one has 50% iron? Colloidal ferric hydroxide. Carbonyl iron is powder form, highly purity metallic iron. So I'm thinking it's like some 99.9%, is it? I don't know. It says high purity, like some very pure metallic iron. The other forms available are ferrous succinate, citrate, etc. Actually, the one I like is ascorbate. I found that I have ordered ascorbate and I never felt nausea. So anyways, look at the adverse effects: nausea, vomiting, epigastric pain, heartburn, metallic taste, staining of the teeth, bloating, colic, constipation. Always say iron, constipation. Iron if you take constipation. Iron if you take constipation. Okay, then